Welcome back, students. Today we will be continuing the same chapter, that is Mauryan Empire. So, the new topic that we will be discussing will be Ashoka's Dharma. Now, what we understand about this one, Dhamma. So, today we will be understanding the meaning where this word Dhamma came from. So, Dhamma came from, like, it is a Sanskrit word meaning dharma. So don't be confused, because Sanskrit word is quite difficult. So to understand it very easily, the translator has transferred the name as dharma. So we are talking about Ashoka's dharma. So in this lesson, we will learn about how Ashoka's dharma was evolved. Okay, so coming to the point number 2, we will understand what is dharma. So dharma, it does not only denote religion. Basically, we get confused with this one. Dharma totally is regarding religion. No, that is not the case. So this thing is that it implies duties. This Ashoka's dharma implies or means, that is, what is duties. So we will be talking about three important duties that Ashoka propagated. Okay, number 1 is morality, number 2 is law, and number 3 is virtue. Morality, law, and virtue. Now, what is the meaning of morality? So, morality is a principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong, or good and bad behavior. So, as a person, we know that there is like every person has got a deep subconscious voice, that every time when we make certain decisions, the voice will prompt you that okay, this is the right decision or wrong decision you have made, that whatever the behavior you give, that is good or bad. So morality is the principle concerning distinction between right and wrong, and good and bad behaviors. So, number 2 is law. Law, the system of rules which a particular country or a community recognize as regulating the actions of its member, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. So now what do you mean by law? Law means a system of rules of which area of a particular country or a community. We, as a citizen of India, is abide by certain rules and regulations, set by our country, that is constitution. Even though, let's talk about community also. Community itself has their own rules and regulation, and being in a member of a community, we have to follow certain rules, certain laws, that it's that helps us to do our work or to do our tasks in a brilliant manner. So why this law is so important? Because it regulates the action of whose members, and it may, like, it can be regulate the country, or the society can regulate the actions by imposing penalties also. So if you like this, in this pandemic, we are in our home in a lockdown state. So what happens, that country is telling, our Indian government is telling that you should be at indoors, and you have to follow certain rules and regulations. So since last year only, like since from 2020, we are following certain rules and regulations set by the Indian government. Then if certain things, like if these rules and regulations are, if these rules and regulations are obstructed, okay, so what happens? The government or a country is imposing penalties. So penalties means, or punishment, or we have to give, like certain, we have to pay money for our behaviors. Okay, so I guess you are okay, or you have understood what is law. Now let's come to the virtue. Okay, so virtue means behavior showing high moral standards. Virtue means if a person has high moral standards, then that considered that that person has a good virtue. So in all together, let's understand, like I will just recapitulate that. Dharma means duties, it implies duties, and in duties it comes three important concepts follow, that is morality, number one, number two is law, and number three is virtue. So I guess you are clear with the meaning of each points. Okay, now let's moving to the next slide. Now this is the main important thing that we will be discussing. Ashoka's dharmas means law of pity. So, what is the meaning? The quality of being religious. If a person is very religious, okay, so that Ashoka's dharma says that to inculcate a quality of being religious. So, what does this Ashoka's dharma's aim was? All round upliftment of people. So therefore the law of pity includes virtues like honesty, morality, respect for elders, and purity. So it's very important that Ashoka's dharma, law of pity, says that a person should inculcate the quality of being very religious. So in this, the quality of being religious includes different virtues like honesty, morality, respect for elders, and purity. So these words are very very easy to understand. I guess you have you have a certain thinking that it has been clear to you what's actually Ashoka Dhamma is. So moving to the next slide, let's talk about from where the sources of dharma can be understood. These sources of dharma can be understood in a various methods or various places. The thing is that first sources we can find from rock edicts, pillar edicts, caves, and stone inscriptions. So there are different sources of dharma. These are the four important sources from which we understood the important things written down in the edicts that follows the propagation of dharma. So there were 14 major rock edicts, there were several minor rock edicts. Okay, you should be very much clear about the exact amount. Okay, so exact quantity: 14 rock major edicts, several minor rock edicts, and 7 pillar rock edicts. So we know that the certain things are inscripted in this rock, certain things are inscripted in the rock, but how a people can understand that the written things in that rock, what are in which language? The Ashokan rock edicts were in Greek language, Armenic, Kharoshthi, and Brahm, and these were the languages that were used while writing rock edicts. So these were the sources, but after when Ashoka was illuminated or got enlightened, then what he considered himself, Ashoka described himself as Devanam Piyadasi, means beloved of gods, means he gave himself a name, this one, and the meaning of that name was beloved of the gods. Now, moving to this one, main features of dharma. Number one feature is purity in family and domestic life. So this one is the first principle that we need to understand. So purity of domestic life, what does this mean? So it's very simple, like purity can be achieved at home by cultivating cordial relations among the family members. So in a family members, we live in a family, and we he says that by cultivating by maintaining cordial relations among the members, purity of domestic life can be achieved, which included how we can inculcate, how we can have a cordial relation among the members. The things are included, such as respect for parents, elders, and human treatment to the servants and other inferior ranks. So, by treating equal, like respecting our parents, our elders, and treating you treating in a good way to those who have inferior ranks from us, we can inculcate those habits and have a cordial relation among family members. So Ashoka's dhamma wanted, expected that people expected to maintain just a proper relation with different communities too. So not just family, cordial relation with communities too. So this was the first feature of Ashoka's Dhamma. Now the second feature is tolerance. So the word tolerance, the thing written about tolerance, it was mentioned in 12 rock edicts. Ashoka appeals people to inculcate the spirit of tolerance for other religion and maintain communal harmony. So this is one of the important thing that we demand till today. So India has faced so much of communal fights are going on till today. But Ashoka's Ashoka's dharma says, that appeals to the people that we being a people should inculcate or cultivate the spirit of tolerance for religion as well as in a different community also. So the he just described the features of dharma, tolerance. But how can we achieve tolerance? He also gave a method of achieving this tolerance. Number one is to promote the idea that all religion leads to God. So number one is that all religion leads to God. Number two is unity among all religion by avoiding criticism of other religion and sects. So we have to achieve, we can achieve it by unity among religion, and we should stop criticizing other religion and other sect, that you are this and you follow this practices, etc. So he says that we should not criticize any religion. Number third one is hold an assembly of all religion. So he says that if we hold an assembly for all religion, we can achieve the spirit of tolerance, he says. Number fourth one is learning of sacred text of all religion. What happens if we learn the sacred texts are in this, they have a it is coded with different kind of good things. So if we learn everything written down in sacred text, then it will help us to inculcate the habit of tolerance. So this becomes your second feature. Let's go to the third feature. The third feature is non-violence. So this is one of the most important thing, because Mahatma Gandhi also says that, Mahatma Gandhi, father of our nation, says that non-violence or ahimsa is also the most important thing. So most of his rock edicts, whose rock edicts? Ashoka's rock edicts preached non-violence to all living beings and sanctity of life. He says that there should be like non-violence is the way of living. So for this one, for achieving non-violence, he reduced like large scale of slaughter of animals for food for royal family. So after a like considerable period of time, when Ashoka was a changed person, he reduced like there should not be any slaughter of animals for food. Moreover, after certain years, he completely abolished these practices of killing animals for the food for the royal family. So the third one is he decided war as an unwanted evil, and instead of military expedition, this is military expedition. Ashoka was a ferocious fighter previously. After the Kalinga War, his life completely changed, and he had a certain experiences that the war. He had an experience that people were like 1,50,000 people were like deported, and 1 lakh of people were died, and they died, and so many animals were slaughtered. So much of things had happened in Ashoka's life before Kalinga War. But after the Kalinga War, his life totally changed, and he thought he just got enlightened that the war is not good for any society. So previously he used to send many military expeditions to different states, different countries, or different kingdoms to capture those kingdoms. But after when he was like changed, he sent peace mission in different countries of world. So peace mission means talking about peace, importance of peace, and talking about non-violence, ahimsa, tolerance, etc. So this becomes your fourth point regarding the features of Dhamma. Now let's talk about ceremonial. What do you mean by true ceremonial? Ashoka's definition of true ceremonial is not rituals, not sacrifice, and not elaborative ceremonies. He was totally against different rituals, sacrifices, and long ceremonies. He believed that rituals and ceremonies are meaningless and cannot affect human life. He said that there were so much of rituals and too much of ceremonies, and that was like too much of expensive, etc. But if a person didn't have any right behavior such as kindness, charity, honesty, respect, and love, then the true ceremonial in life cannot be achieved. So if a person has a right behavior, then true ceremonial can be achieved. Ashoka's Dharma says these things. So moving to the next one. So he there was a like propagated on Ashoka's Dharma. I'm sorry, not propagated, he just mentioned those. But how he like propagated Dharma and Buddhism, this becomes one of the important notion, because he became an example of Dharma. He became a very an example of how. Number one, he set an example by practicing what he preached. He said that, like, whatever the things are there, like in terms of tolerance, non-ahimsa, etc., he practiced in his life, and whatever he preached, he also practiced, and that became an example for the community. Number second is banned slaughter of animals and different types of fights, etc., of the people. So torture means previously he used to build a cell for torture. I guess I have discussed in this in previous video. Kindly recapitulate. I have like talking about like Ashoka built cell torture, also cell for torturing people. So Instead of this one fights and torture, he introduced a normal form of sports and amusement. He introduced normal forms of sports and amusements, which was related to non-violence. No people, no animal was slaughtered, no people was hurt, no blood was shed, etc. Okay, so as a ruler, but this becomes an important notion. As a ruler, he did not abolish capital punishment. Capital punishment means death punishment, but inflicted gave of like the thing is that he did not abolish capital punishment, but gave up pleasures and luxuries in his life. He like how the thing is that he was a king, like he was a great king, and he had so much of treasures, so much of richness, but like the thing is that he gave all his pleasures and luxuries in life. And as a ruler, he did not abolish capital punishment, because there were certain issues that could not be forgiven. So he kept capital punishment on a severe instances, to tackle severe instances of the cases. Okay, fourth one. Now, pilgrimage tour. What does this one? Pilgrimage tour means Ashoka organized pilgrimage tour to spread the message of Dhamma and Buddhism. People used to go certain things, and he used to like people from his kingdom used to go to different places and talk about the Dharma and Buddhism, because these were the main postulates that changed the narratives of Ashoka. Now, like he visited holy places like Buddha Gaya, Lumbini, because this is the place where Gautam Buddha was enlightened. So he also visited the places and got inspired more. So he also went to like very remote places, which include poor and neglected villages, and he used to help that poor and neglected villages by giving certain amount of money, or uplifting their standard of living. So this is how the methods were adopted by Ashoka to spread Buddhism. The next one is like creation of special class of officers, that is Dharma Mahamattas. So kindly check this spelling, because in your book the spelling is wrong. So this is the correct spelling. Kindly check and rewrite or make a correction in your book. So what is this one? A symbols here Ashoka. Ashoka instituted special class of royal officers known as Dharma Mahamattas, who spread the message of Dharma throughout the country. So, what did Ashoka did? Ashoka appointed new royal officers, giving a term as Dharma Mahamattas, who main role was to spread the message of Dharma throughout the country. Now, royal officers had enforced the laws of morality. And number one, you know the meaning of morality: end of slaughter of animals, etc. And they preached equal treatment of people and provide justice. So these Mahamats were like the people who used to talk about different notions, such as laws of morality, and they used to spread the message that you should not kill animals for your food or for your amusement purposes. Rather, you should focus upon equal treatment of people and provide justice to those persons who are unjustified. So number the next slide is royal officers to hold assemblies during their tour. Beside Dharma Mahamat, all royal officers were instructed to spread Ashoka's message. So it was not only the duty of Dharma Mahamat, but there were other royal officers in the kingdom, in the Mauryan Empire when Ashoka was the king. Their role were also that they were also instructed by Ashoka to spread Ashoka's message. Ashoka's message was just about Ashoka's Dharma, tolerance, non-violence, ahimsa, so on and so forth. So, how these measures were adopted, how this can be achieved, it is just a massive scale. Nowadays we use or we promote certain things via YouTube, via Facebook, via WhatsApp, and so many things are there, by giving promotions, by giving conferences, like virtual conferences, etc. We can promote these kind of things. But at that period of time where internet was not there, how that Ashoka's message were propagated? So it was done by holding assemblies or gathering of people of an area and instructing them to lead the right kind of life. So how? By holding assemblies. Number two is gathering of people, when people used to gather, and instructing them and talking about Ashoka's Dhamma and related concepts. So I guess now, I guess my lesson is understandable to you. So I want you to complete the question answers side by side. And I guess if you have any doubts regarding this particular topic or particular meaning, you yeah, you are free to ping me in WhatsApp, then we can discuss. Moreover, we can have a complete discussion in a Google Meet when I complete the chapter. So please complete your notes, and I can send me the notes so that I can check the question answers if it's right or not. Just not just by copying from PPT, it's not it will not be helpful. So kindly side by side complete your question answers too, short answers type also and long answer type also. Thank you, stay safe and take care.